Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. I wanted to walk you through a little bit of an extended thought experiment with everything that's happening right now in the news surrounding Bitcoin and Elon Musk, of course, meme smith extraordinaire, in relation to Michael Saylor and this discussion that they've had over Twitter, which has got a lot of people thinking some very optimistic thoughts. So for a little bit of preface here, let's backtrack a little bit. I'm recording this on a Tuesday, and as per the Wall Street Journal here, Tesla has now joined the S&P 500. And this is a big deal. Tesla is a very big company, in fact. It's in the top 10 of the largest companies in the world by market cap. We'll get to that in just a second. Tesla, as you can see here, worth about $659 billion, was added yesterday on Monday, the 21st of December, to the S&P 500. If you take a look at all of the other combined companies and assets that were added to the S&P 500, their cumulative total is just $309 billion. So you can see that, Tesla is definitely a very big heavyweight. We're here now on companiesmarketcap.com. That's right, companies market cap. In the same way we have coin market cap, we also have currencies market cap, companiesmarketcap.com. The world's largest company, according to this resource, is Apple, with a market cap of $2.26 trillion. So Tesla is a little bit further down the list, but as I mentioned, still in the top 10. This figure a little bit different, not quite 659, but let's call it $600 billion total market cap. The price did take a little bit of a tumble following that S&P 500 listing. Okay, so with all of this in mind as pretext here, we're going to get to that Elon Musk tweet and revisit that. He posted that a couple days ago. Let's first set the stage here and discuss what Michael Saylor has been doing from today, December 22nd. Michael_Saylor on Twitter. Money is flowing out of conventional assets into Bitcoin due to the escalating risks of global currency devaluation, technology disruption, social dislocation, and political uncertainty, now more than ever. This is not a rally or a bubble. It's a chain reaction spreading like a fire in cyberspace. And from yesterday, the 21st of December, Bitcoin is like a battery charged with monetary energy. Since a rational investment time horizon is about 4 years, as long as the price is trading above the 200 weekly moving average, or the 200 WMA, the network is in fact powering up. The more intensely it trades, the faster Bitcoin absorbs energy, referring here to Plan B at 100 trillion USD's 200 WMA, increasing faster and faster here. And here is the last bit of important news for context here from Michael Saylor that he tweeted yesterday. You've likely heard about it. MicroStrategy has purchased an additional 29,646 Bitcoins for $650 million at an average price of $21,925 per Bitcoin. And now, HODL, an aggregate of 70,470 Bitcoins purchased for $1.125 billion at an average price of $15,964 per Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, seemingly out of thin air, has emerged as an evangelical for the purpose here and for the cause, talking about how he fully intends to hold Bitcoin for the next century or more. And MicroStrategy, at least in my opinion, is going to become a household name in the very near future as a result of that decision. Here now we're on bitcointreasuries.org, and you can see that MicroStrategy tops the list of publicly traded companies holding large amounts of Bitcoin. In fact, they top the list by a lot. They hold, as I mentioned, 70,470 Bitcoin. In a distant second, you have Galaxy Digital Holdings, Mike Novogratz's company, with about 16,500 Bitcoin. And you can go down the list. You'll see some familiar names, Square, Riot Blockchain, for example, and others. There are some private companies that do have more than MicroStrategy, notably Mt. Gox and Block.one. If you're wondering where Grayscale is on the list, they hold the most Bitcoin, over 572,000, but they're an ETF-like company, so they're listed here in that bracket. So keep this list in mind and some of those rough numbers in mind as we move on to some of the news here. Because the important thing to remember is that this is how Michael Saylor now sees the world. Those big companies that we looked at in the top 10 in terms of global market cap, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, they all have massive treasuries. They all have massive amounts of US dollars sitting in their treasuries. And if you subscribe to the Michael Saylor mentality, those balance sheets that they're currently overseeing are melting like ice cubes because, of course, they are denominated in US dollars. Maybe they have some combination of foreign exchange, of precious metals, of different stocks. That's possible as well. But ultimately, any company with an over-reliance, according to Michael Saylor, on the USD is looking at treasury reserves that are akin to melting ice cubes. Okay, so we members of the Altcoin Buzz army kind of know what's going on. We're kind of hip to all of this stuff. We understand blockchain, we understand deflation and the tokenomics of Bitcoin and similar projects. So we can salute Michael Saylor. But here's the important thing. You have more and more people that are now starting to come out of the woodwork and asking questions and considering some of these variables in the big picture sense. Enter Elon Musk. We covered this tweet the other day. Always the scoundrel with some of the memes that he puts out there. By the way, his bio, he still lists himself, as you can see here, as the former CEO of Dogecoin. So he's definitely one of these guys that's hip to the space. He knows what's going on. Certainly a very smart man, no doubt about it. So the recent news has been dominated by the fact that Tesla has been added to the S&P 500. But I think it's obvious that Elon is thinking about everything that's happening in the world. All of those variables that Michael Saylor pointed out earlier. The fact that we have monetary uncertainty, political uncertainty, scarcity for Bitcoin that is only increasing. So here we have this exchange. In response to that meme, Michael Saylor tweeted, "If you want to do your shareholders a $100 billion favor, convert the Tesla balance sheet from US dollars to Bitcoin. Other firms on the S&P 500 would follow your lead, and in time it would grow to become a $1 trillion favor." Now here's the thing. Elon Musk replied, "Are such large transactions even possible?" Michael Saylor, "Yes, I have purchased over $1.3 billion in Bitcoin in past months and would be happy to share my playbook with you offline, from one rocket scientist to another." And of course, without a doubt, this lit the internet aflame. A lot of people obviously trying to convince Elon Musk to take up Michael Saylor's offer here. Many people very excited about it. Perhaps some others not too excited. I'm talking about you, Mr. Peter Schiff. But clearly, Elon Musk is asking questions. And for a billionaire running a multi-billion dollar, in fact, top 10 company globally by market cap, to be spending his free time posting memes about Bitcoin, asking questions about how it could influence Tesla's treasury. This is a very big deal. As a reminder, Tesla right now does happen to be down a little bit since its listing on the S&P 500, but who cares? Down a couple of percentage points. The point is that its market cap is still massive. Let's round it up somewhere in the $600 billion range, and by every account, it has lots and lots and lots of room to grow going forward. So let's do a little bit of quick and ready math. And this is by no means definitive. This is just a thought experiment because in reality, there are other complications and other factors that have to be considered here. What I'm about to present is not how it would go down in real life, but just for the sake of a thought experiment. Let's say Michael Saylor and Elon Musk are having conversations behind the scenes, and let's say Elon Musk is enamored by Saylor's message. He decides to go ahead with it. If you take $100 billion, for example, out of the Tesla treasury. And I'm not certain to what extent this absolutely exists in the treasury, but again, for the sake of illustration here, that is $100 billion. Let's say now that $100 billion is used to purchase Bitcoin at an average price of $25,000. Now, for some reasons that we're about to get into, this isn't quite possible because just the supply alone is not something that's feasible. But if you divide these numbers, you're seeing 4 million Bitcoin, in theory, could be purchased with $100 billion. However, we're already starting to see supply shocks. We're already starting to see a demand that is far in excess of the available Bitcoin supply. So this could never happen. An average price of $25,000 per Bitcoin could never happen, even though right now we happen to be below that market price. Okay, let's do something a little bit more modest in that case. Let's say Elon Musk takes $100 billion and decides to spend a fraction of that, perhaps 10% of the Treasury. So if he were to just take $10 billion, we have to divide here our figure by 10. That gives us 10 billion. Let's divide this by an average Bitcoin price of 25,000. Hypothetically, if this were to happen, Elon Musk with $10 billion could acquire 400,000 Bitcoin. So that places him certainly above the likes of Saylor and MicroStrategy, who have 70,000 Bitcoin and change. They're still behind Grayscale. Tesla, that is still behind Grayscale with a sum of 400,000. But here's what you can do with 400,000. Don't forget that Citibank analysts themselves are projecting a 380,000 Bitcoin by December of 2021. So now, assuming Elon Musk pays $25,000 on average per Bitcoin for 400,000 of them, let's now multiply this out by the $380,000 projection. Just this move alone, with a fraction of Tesla's treasury, could generate $152 billion of excess value. And that's just hypothetically speaking and somewhat conservatively speaking, based on Citibank's estimates, the numbers that we're talking about for December of 2021. Of course, there are many mathematical combinations and permutations here, but I have to imagine that if Saylor and Elon Musk are having this discussion, even casually at the level of a Twitter exchange, there's something happening behind the scenes. Elon Musk certainly is a smart and intelligent man, and I think if he's somebody that is willing to take risks in this space, we could very easily see Tesla rocket up the hierarchy here and run its way up the flagpole, perhaps surpassing the likes of Facebook, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and dare I say, even Apple in the very near future. Because again, we're only talking about 2021 with that $380,000 figure. What about 5 years from now? What about 10 years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now? Imagine, if you will, if Bitcoin is priced in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions or tens of millions of dollars at some point in the next century. Let's do some more quick math. Let's say at some point, perhaps decades from now, Elon Musk wants to check back in on those 400,000 Bitcoin that he purchased. And perhaps, again, in decades from now, Bitcoin is worth $10 million. So just doing some quick math here, 10,000, 10 million. There we go. We have a product that here is $4 trillion, just with an arguably meager initial investment of $10 billion. Talk about multiplying your money. As I said, there are lots of permutations and lots of combinations here, but what many people are saying all over the internet is that this is Elon Musk's opportunity. As the former CEO of Dogecoin, he understands the space. This is his opportunity to capitalize, to get out of the US dollar, and to make a move that will make him competitive an order of magnitude higher, if not more so, against some of the other global leaders in terms of corporate market cap. And you know what? It doesn't stop just there, because Tesla, as I mentioned, only yesterday was added to the S&P 500. So if Elon Musk were to make this kind of move, if he were to have the courage and to go for it, and maybe even with just a fraction of his treasury, do you think for 1 second that nobody else would follow this lead? This would be a trend-setting event that many, many other Fortune 500 institutions and public organizations, as well as private organizations, would take on. I think this would set off a chain reaction that would do very, very good things for the price of Bitcoin. So there's the thought experiment. There is my quick math. Let me know your thoughts about this, guys. I would love to see Tesla here take up maybe position number 2 behind Grayscale. Although if they so chose, they have the power to take the number 1 spot and take supremacy in this Bitcoin treasuries domain. So kudos to Saylor. Kudos to all of the internet heroes that are influencing Elon Musk's Twitter game. I think that something is brewing behind the scenes. Obviously, this is speculation. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I have to imagine if this is the kind of public discussion that we're privy to, probably some talks are happening behind the scenes. And maybe we won't hear about it today or tomorrow in terms of its final incarnation, but I think something will eventually happen. Let's stay tuned. Let's find out. In other quick news, guys, just want to mention some giveaways and some charitable acts here. Crypto.com, @CryptoCom on Twitter. Crypto.com exchange lucky daily draw. Win 250 USD in CRO. To be eligible, here's what you have to do. Number 1, be a new exchange user since the 1st of December of this year. And number 2, have a trading volume of at least 1,000 USD by the 31st of December. So if you are a new user since the 1st of December, that's relatively achievable. Best of luck to you in that competition. We also have this news, Binance Charity, which is a handle you may or may not be following, at Binance BCF. On the 18th of December, they tweeted, hashtag Binance Charity is donating 3.2 Bitcoin, which is about $60,000, to Friends of Notre de Paris in France, of course, the Notre Dame Cathedral. The donation will go to restore Notre Dame Cathedral's maze paintings, which were damaged in a disastrous fire in April of last year, 2019. So that wraps it up for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into the website, altcoinbuzz.io. Like, subscribe, share, of course, and hit the bell to receive notifications. Let me know what you think Elon's next move is. I would love to be in his shoes. And I think Michael Saylor has to be a very positive influence for him. Stay well, everybody. Best of luck if you choose to invest. As always, we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.